Andy Farquharson here, and really excited to be sharing you this special series of The Alternative Exit. We're here live for the Oxford Symposium on Employee Ownership. The world's leading researchers, practitioners, experts, thought leaders and employee-owned companies have all gathered here in Oxford in the UK to talk about how to grow the amazing benefits of employee ownership. Over the next few days, I'm going to be conducting interviews and brief conversations with the attendees to learn a little bit more what are the highlights of their day, what are the key things they're taking away, what are the greatest innovations they can see, and what do they see for the future of employee ownership. So stick around and be a part of the conversation.
My name is Frank Cumberbatch. I work for Bader Philanthropies, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
What was the highlight of today's session for you?
The highlight was Michael, I think he's the vice president for web technologies.
Yeah.
I just love the whole culture of that company. I think it mirrors what we're trying to do at Bader Philanthropies, have values, have a strong set of values, comes down from the leadership to the workers, and I can see it working at Web Technologies.
Very cool. Now, what would you see from your time in the space, the biggest innovation in employee ownership?
The biggest innovation in employee ownership. Yeah, I really don't know if I see any innovation yet that's not anywhere else. I think the concept is very good from the standpoint of, especially for low-income, low-skill people to build wealth. I mean, if you think of web technologies where they created millionaires, that's amazing. These are not degreed people with big letters behind their names.
Story.
It's an amazing story. So that was, I would love to learn to find out the inner workings of how that works.
Yeah. So in 12 months' time, what is the headlines that you'd like to see written about employee ownership?
What I think would be a great headline is a group or a person use ChatGPT to find their next employee ownership company.
All right.
That would be.
I'm Jone Nolte. I come from the Basque Country, from Bilbao, and I work in ASLE. ASLE is an employee-owned companies association. We are about 300 partners in our association, and in the Basque Country there are like 600 employee-owned companies.
What would you say was your highlight of today's session?
My highlights. I would like to know how to convince our politicians, our government, of the importance of promoting employee-owned companies in order to face a new alternative for succession processes when the owners of the traditional companies want to retire, because we have a big problem with the selling of our companies to private funds.
Yep.
So I'm focusing especially in the arguments that I can use to look for, how would you say, I need their help, I need their support in our route.
What would you say is your biggest innovation in employee ownership?
We want to innovate in legislation in Spain. Spain, there is direct ownership. We represent Sociedades Laborales. Is a model of employee-owned companies, majority employee-owned companies, but we would like to promote the indirect employee ownership.
Okay.
And that will be or would be our innovation. So I would like to inspire for other models in Europe and in the rest of the world, and be able to innovate in Spain.
If in 12 years' time, there could be a headline on a paper about employee ownership, what would you like it to be?
I would love to have hundreds and hundreds, I'm not talking about thousands, but hundreds and hundreds of employee-owned companies, small, medium, and bigger ones as well.
I'm McGuire, and I am the chair of Employee Ownership Ireland.
And what was your highlight of today?
I think, well, I've got to admit my highlight is being here. I've been quite excited about coming here. But overall, I think just in terms of the amount of content that we've just had today has been really, really good. And I think finding out a bit more about how the ESOP system works in America has well, because again, obviously I'm quite familiar with the employee ownership trust model, and it's finding out a wee bit more detail on that. And the speakers as well have been really informative and engaging. It's been a good day. There's been a lot of content, but it's been a good day.
Okay, what would you think is the most exciting innovation in employee ownership?
Well, I suppose from a personal point of view, I think the innovation for me is the actual momentum that we're starting to see where we are in Northern Ireland, and the amount of people are now actually finding out about this and becoming engaged with it and wanting to apply this model. I think that for me is the most exciting element.
Yep.
But also about, the conversations that we're having here is I've just spoken to a guy who the employee ownership doesn't exist in Germany, for example, and they're really trying to push forward on that. So I think it's about that organizational level and getting people, building awareness, and those organizations are helping to do that.
Finally, what would you like to see for a headline for employee ownership in 1 year's time?
Oh God, from a personal perspective, I'd love to see the Irish government basically taking this up and really then, starting to apply, structures to allow the employee ownership model to exist there. I think that would be really exciting. And also for in Northern Ireland that we get to our 10,000 employee target that we're trying to do way ahead of schedule.
I'm Pascal Nieuwland. I'm director of the Netherlands Participation Institute in the Netherlands. We promote employee ownership.
What was the most impressive thing that really stood out for you from today's conversation?
The most impressive is always the networking, meeting people in the same field. You don't have to explain what you're doing. That's for today the most impressive when it comes to the meeting. But if you look at the topic, for me today was the evaluation session.
Okay, nice, fantastic. And what do you think is the most exciting innovation in employee ownership?
I think the most innovative is that employee ownership keeps on developing. It's like a company, it's like organic material. The ESOP of 74 in America is not the ESOP of today and will not be the ESOP of the future. So it is a continued process of changing, organically moving with the companies towards a new shape.
Okay, and what would you like to see as the headline for employee ownership in a year?
I would love to see that employee ownership is known by everybody, and it's the number one way of organizing businesses in the world. Look at how we want to be organized as a company. I think that's a really important topic these days for the young companies when they start. How shall we be organized? And I think employee ownership should be the number one choice for the new companies to be.
I'm Gonzalo Hernandez from Mexico. I work for a Jesuit university in Guadalajara.
What was your highlight of today?
To reinforce what I believe, that employee ownership is linked to values,
Yeah.
to core values, and that we can make it together.
Okay.
That's my highlight.
What do you think is the best innovation in employee ownership?
The best innovation. I think each country and each region and each entrepreneurial ecosystem has their own challenges. So the innovation is in every country. The Slovenians are doing great. The British did great. The Canadians are doing great, and they are showing us a kind of the path to follow.
Awesome. And if you'd in 12 months' time, there's a headline for about employee ownership. What should it say?
For that?
If there was going to be a newspaper headline about employee ownership, what will it say?
Maybe 2 or 3 new laws here in Europe.
Yeah.
It will be great. And maybe one first Mexican enterprise.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to continue learning about employee ownership as an alternative exit, head across to abettermonday.me for additional links and resources. You can also make sure to subscribe or follow along in your favorite podcast app, and be sure to leave us a 5-star review.